Welcome to Kid Cinema, a movie podcast hosted by a kid, Hayes, and his dad, me, AJ. Each episode, Hayes and I will talk about a movie we just watched and what we thought of it. He's a kid, so these will be quick. Enjoy the show. Our episode today is on the 1994 film BlankCheck, starring Brian Bonesall, Karen Duffy, Michael Lerner, Miguel Ferrer, Tone Loc, and James Rebhorn. Directed by Rupert Wainwright. Okay, say your name.
Hi, my name is Hayes, and this is a 7 to 10 minute podcast.
And what movie do we watch?
BlankCheck, just to tell you, the movie, not the podcast.
Not the podcast, BlankCheck?
Yes.
Yeah. And what happens in the movie?
There's a kid.
Named Preston.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lot of money.
Yeah. Or his parents they're frugal. So that means they don't spend a lot of money. They're saving. They want to be financially cautious.
Yeah.
He has 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
And he feels like his parents give them what they want, but he doesn't get what he asks for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his parents say, because your brothers work hard.
What did they say? Because your brothers work hard, what?
And earn money.
That's why they have jobs. That's why they can do things that they want to do. At the really beginning of the movie, we see somebody break out of prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't know what his deal is until a little bit later.
Yeah.
So it's Preston's birthday, right?
Yeah.
And what does he get for his birthday?
I forgot.
He gets a check from his grandmother.
Yeah.
But the check doesn't say anything on it, right?
Yeah.
So what does his dad explain to him?
The BlankCheck.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't have any money.
Is that it needs to be filled out. And whatever you write on the check, as long as it's signed, the bank will try and give it to you, right?
Yes.
So the next day, after Preston's birthday,
Yeah.
when he doesn't really get what he wants, right?
Yeah.
He's riding somewhere on his bike, and his bike gets run over.
Yeah.
By who?
The guy that broke out of jail.
Yeah. And the guy that broke out of jail is running from the police. And the police show up, and he wants to get out of there. So what does he do to Preston?
He knocks over his bike.
Yeah, but what does he do to try and make it okay? What does he give Preston?
A check that he signs, but it doesn't have any cost.
It doesn't have any dollars on it.
So as long as he puts as much money as he wants on it, the bank can give it to him.
Yeah. And what we don't know is that guy stole a bunch of money and left it at the bank.
Yeah.
And he's working with the guy who owns the bank to take that money and run away with it. But he told the guy at the bank that he's going to send his associate, Juice, right?
Yeah.
To come pick it up the next day.
Yeah.
So what does Preston do? What does he write on the check?
$1,000,000.
So Preston goes to the bank the next day, and what does he do?
He turns in the check.
And do they believe him?
Yes, because they think that it's Juice.
They think he's Juice, right? Yeah. But there's somebody else who works at the bank.
A pretty lady.
A pretty lady. But what does it turn out that the pretty lady is? She works for the FBI, right?
What is that?
The Federal Bureau of Investigations. And they're trying to find the guy who broke out of prison and stole that money, right?
Yeah, but that's at the end.
We don't find that out until the end.
Yeah.
But it's kind of important to recap the movie.
Yeah.
But Preston sees her.
Yeah.
Oh, before that, he tried to open a bank account with his $11 check from his grandmother.
Yeah.
And he couldn't because he needed a little bit more money, she said.
He needed $200 more.
He needed $200 more. But now, because they think he's Juice, he has $1 million, right?
Yeah.
So he comes back the next day and he opens his bank account.
Yeah.
And what does he start to do with his money?
Spending it.
Yeah. But he has to kind of create a fake person to be able to spend the money, right?
Why?
Because no one's going to believe that a little kid has $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
So who does he make up? Mr.
Macintosh.
And he pretends to be working for Mr. Macintosh, right?
Yes.
And that's how his parents let him do all this stuff?
Yes.
Because they think he has a job?
Yes.
Yeah. But then what starts to happen?
He buys a house.
He buys a house.
Which is a castle, actually.
It does look like a castle. And it has a whole bunch of cool things in it.
Yeah.
But over the course of the next couple of days, weeks, the bad guy, Mr. Quigley, and Juice, and the bank guy, Mr. Bitterman,
Yeah.
are after him. They're trying to find him, right?
But Juice comes next day. Really Juice. He comes to try to pick up the money.
Yeah.
But Mr. Bitterman says, I thought you already picked up the money.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, I didn't. And then I think Mr. Bitterman said, the little boy.
So now they know they have to go find a little boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple times throughout the movie, they see Preston and they're running after him, but Preston always winds up escaping, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one time, they're riding in a car.
Mm-hmm.
But then they fall into a lake.
Yeah. Yeah. Preston hires a chauffeur, the guy who drives him around.
Yeah.
That he becomes really good friends with.
Yes.
Does the chauffeur kind of know that there is no Mr. McIntosh and that this is just Preston's money?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he knows that this kid needs this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then at the end, they're having a big party.
For Mr. McIntosh's and Preston's birthday.
Yeah. And so I guess this takes place over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody kind of comes together. Preston's there with the chauffeur, and Shay, the lady from the bank, but she's also in the FBI, are there. And the bad guys show up, right?
Wait, there's also the party planner that wants the money. But he doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
Like, he loses all of his money just spending it.
Yeah, he spent all of his money, so he doesn't have any more.
Yeah.
So then everybody's there. And what happens?
The bad guys get there.
The bad guys get there. And everything kind of comes to a head.
Yeah.
The FBI is looking for somebody to arrest.
Yeah.
And they need to pin it on somebody. And Quigley, who is the guy who actually stole the money, tries to pretend that he's actually Mr. McIntosh.
So he wouldn't go to jail.
Yeah, but what happens?
Mr. McIntosh is needed to go to jail.
They say, okay, well, Mr. McIntosh spent all this money that wasn't his, so he's going to go to jail. So Quigley winds up going to jail anyway, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Preston, what?
Tells the truth.
He tells the truth. And he doesn't wind up getting in trouble. And he just wants to go home back to his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his dad is kind of proud of him because he worked really hard to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
He made up this big story and kept it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the movie?
At the end when they did the happy birthday and the cake.
And the cake, yeah. He's got a bunch of cool stuff in his house, right?
Yeah, he got like a video game that's like so, like a TV that's so ginormous, like you can play video games or call somebody on. He also has like the things where they shoot baseballs at you.
He's got like a batting cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also got that big trampoline Velcro thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite toy that Preston has?
The like ball thing where you hold on and it goes you upside down.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
How many
How many $100 bills would you give it?
How many $100 bills would you give it?
You do it.
I'd say probably a 2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I would give it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10?
Yeah.
You liked it a lot?
Yeah. At the first time you said 2.5, I thought you were gonna say out of 10.
You thought I didn't like it that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you like it kind of because you do listen to the podcast BlankCheck?
Yeah, but the podcast is not just about this movie.
Yes, I know, but I did it for the 100th episode because everybody thought that the podcast was gonna be about the movie BlankCheck.
That's right. Was this fun?
Yep.
Should we do it again?
Yep.
What do you say?
Bye-bye.